is the very first time this car is going to move under its own power since the wreck, so if I start bawling, you'll have to just give me a little slack. So Tim did a really awesome thing with the dash where whenever you adjust any of the potentiometers on the car, the rotary pots, a message comes up and tells you what you're adjusting and then what the setting is. So that'll make it really nice. Whenever you adjust something and you're sitting in the driver's seat, it'll tell you which one's being adjusted and where it is. So we finally got the car on the dyno at my buddy Andy's shop at ADM. It's got the Bozo Zuku, or whatever the hell you call it, exhaust on it, and I cannot wait to see how this sucker runs. So Joey's strapping it down. I have to go next door, unfortunately, and build the splitter because we've only got 3 days to get this thing in the trailer with all the body work on it, and we don't even have the body work built. So they're going to be dynoing it. I'm going to be doing carbon fiber work. Hopefully everything works out good.
So to start with, I'll just be rolling the car out, getting it set on the dyno, and then we just have it loaded up to simulate a road with the car weight. And I'll just be cruising, making sure the boost control is all working how I expect it to, getting the fuel within kind of range, and setting up kind of the estimation for the fuel as we turn the boost up from there. So we're back on the dyno, I think, for the 3rd time now. I think so. Anyway, I think 3rd time. So we had some coolant leaks. We had some valve train issues where we had to go in and reset all of our valve train and make sure everything was torqued tightly. We had some plumbing issues, and then our crank sensor died. So it's one thing after another. It's definitely fighting, but we're back on the dyno now. Hopefully to finally make some power boosts.
So we've been on the dyno this afternoon. Tim's been dynoing it all afternoon, trying to kind of get the HP turbo tuned, and we've learned a whole bunch about what not to do. So we're kind of doing the Thomas Edison approach. We're going to figure out, 100 ways to not do it, so that we can figure out hopefully the one way to do it to make it work really well. We just now got through doing a compression test. Whenever we kind of have a brand new fresh motor, we want to make sure that everything's good. So everything checked out great. We got good compression. We're about to go tune the LP turbo and see what happens there. We're kind of tuning each turbo individually to see how they react on their own, so that when we put them together, we have some baseline data to let us know which one does which. Do it. I gotta park quick. And then we're trying to do like exceptionally complicated shit.
It hurts the brain.
So it's like, hey, let's get you really good and sleep deprived, and then give you the hardest math problem you've ever tried to solve, and make you feel like an idiot. That's what today is.
That's absolutely how I feel. Oh my god.
But we're gonna freaking solve the math problem. God dang it, if it kills us.
We're getting there. We're
figuring it out. I feel like we're gonna have something really special when we're done.
Yeah.
But it's gonna challenge us to the brink of our capabilities.
Yeah.
But that's where you learn, and that's where you get better, and that's what we need to do. The easy button sucks. Nobody ever did anything great by pushing the easy button.
If it was easy, we'd go up there with twin turbos and
be slow like everybody else.
Yeah, exactly.
We don't want to be slow like everybody else. Twin turbos is not the way. We need to do something better.
Yeah.
Maybe this is it. I think it will be.
I think it will be. So, right now, we're right in the middle of tuning our compound turbo setup. We've done, basically, we shut off the big turbo and we tuned the small turbo, but there's such a big restriction between everything we have to push the exhaust gas through that is not very efficient, as you'd expect. So then now we've opened the wastegates on the small turbo and we're just tuning the big turbo, and we're kind of realizing what the pressure differentials are doing between the two and what we're going to have to do, which turbo to use when. We haven't made big horsepower numbers yet, but that's because we're doing this really inefficiently to learn the numbers and then start putting it all together. So it's late and we're working hard, we're learning a lot, but it's a long, complicated process.
And there's nothing to go off of. Like,
yeah,
it's not
there's
like
no book on this.
Yeah, we actually, our friends at Garrett are anxiously awaiting the data because the engineers there want to help us kind of digest this, but we have to go through this process to get data to even talk to them about, because those guys are like, well, nobody's really done what you're doing and collected a bunch of data, so we don't know. So I think it's going to be great, and I think there's a lot of learning that's going to happen, but we just have to walk through the mud for a while and do the X's and O's and dot the I's, cross the T's, get the data collected, and then learn from there. So, but we'll probably be here at, what time is it? It's it's 10:38. We haven't gone to bed before like 11:30 midnight all week, and we've been at the shop before 8. And I really wanted to go to bed, but it looks like we're going to probably be up till maybe 1 or 2 doing this.
Yeah.
So we just got to forge ahead, because failure's not an option.
Yeah, let's do it.
Do math.
Do math. Somebody get me some fans.
we were on the dyno last night till about 3 in the morning. Tim tuned it on the high pressure turbo by itself with the low pressure wastegates open. Then he tuned it on the low pressure with the high pressure wastegates open. And then he tuned it compounded, and we learned a lot. Originally, we kind of just took a wild stab in the dark with the guys at Garrett on what we should do for turbo sizing. So what we're going to do is hopefully send them an email tomorrow, Monday, and talk to the engineering guys and figure out what we can do to improve the turbo performance, which is going to be super interesting. So I'll keep you guys posted on that. What we've learned that's really kind of cool data, if you haven't ever done a compound setup before, which is most of us, is that we found some kind of anomalous things with the back pressure. It seems like you kind of almost compound the back pressure on the high pressure turbo because it's exhausting into another environment with pressure. So that backup kind of looks like it's conceivably leading to really high exhaust back pressures, which is kind of detrimental to power production. So we're going to talk to the engineers tomorrow, try and figure out ways of decreasing that, which should give us essentially free horsepower. But in the world of turbos, typically if you want to spool faster, you need to increase the back pressure. So we don't want to necessarily sacrifice spool to get it. So lots of interesting things about to happen to figure out what we can do. But in a nutshell, the system did work. It did do what we thought it should, and it looks like it will be phenomenal at the mountain because it has enormous potential for super high boost pressures, which is exactly what we needed it to do. It looks like it's going to do it. So the next time you see us, we'll be at the mountain tuning this thing in real life and hopefully making lots and lots of horsepowers. I know everybody's super curious about numbers, so we'll give you the numbers. We had to stop tuning it at about 1,000 because we just were having too many problems with blowing the tires off of the dyno. And really, at the end of the day, we don't need it to make more than 1,000 at sea level because we're more worried about what it's going to make at altitude. So we just quit tuning it at 1,000 horsepower. Definitely big potential there, though. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please.